Hey, so my name is Junchen and part of the machine learning EEG senior project group with Professor Grossberg. So for our project, we work with another professor called David Britton to study about how human brain can be distracted by different type of distractor and how we can learn from those. So we the thing that we want to study is semantic attention effect of modality, lexicality, and semantic contents. So basically, for our data, we have for our experience, we have a succession of different stimuli present to the subject, which is a flanker shown before or after a target stimuli. The stimuli can be can be shown on different combination, different way. So, for example, for this example, we have visual stimuli. So we have a flanker of a picture of a dog, and then we have another picture of a baby, and then we have another picture of a dog. So here in this example, we'll have modality of visual because it's all visual, and then for lexicality is non-languages because they are all pictures, but it's not semantically congruent because the content is different. So as computer scientists, our goal with this project is to be able to involve with audio versus visual languages versus non-languages and congruent versus non-congruence. We want to determine where and when the modality, lexicality, and semantic contents are stored in the brain. That is, we want to use machine learning to classify our data that's provided to us by David Britton, and then to be able to see what part of the brain are responsible for making decisions, and the subject are experimenting modality, congruency, and lexicality. So in order to do that, we want to be able to turn our data into binary. The way how we did it is that we separate our problem into 3 steps. The first step is modality, the second step is lexicality, and the third step is congruent. So for modality, we separate our data into binary by putting it as either audio or as either visual. And then we do classification and from the classification result, we were able to obtain important information on what part of the brain are used for those classification. For lexicality, we do the same. We separate it as either languages or non-languages, and then once it's in binary, we can classify it again. For congruency, it's either congruent or incongruent. So the first step that we did is that we have to process our data. So our data is like a EEG data of 32 subject, and it's recorded in ANT file. So one of the first problem that we have is that we couldn't convert the raw data into Python because we need to use Python to do machine learning. So we were able to find a solution by convert the data using MATLAB to EEG first, and then Python and then eLibrary was able to read the EEG file. That way we could actually put our data into Python and use it. So here is a picture of the raw data before removing artifact before preprocessing. As you can see, the picture was like very unorganized, the signal. And here is the picture after preprocessing. Right now the signal is like much more cleaner and with all the noises removed. So before our raw data, we have a bunch of event IDs, but we only want 3. So in the string code, so that's why we only, as you can see in the slide here, we only have 3 string code combination right now. We were able to create our own dictionary of string codes and use those string codes to represent our data for each child. So the example right here, we have a word picture that has the string code A37, which stands for visual, spell word, and non-word. So the problem that we are going to solve with the classification is that we are going to begin with modality, and after that we will go to lexicality, and lastly we will be going into congruency, because modality I generally consider as the easiest to solve, while congruency is the hardest. So for each epoch data, we have to filter out the event ID so that it's in binary, and then we vectorize it from 3D to 2D, and then we fit the 2D data into our classifier, and then we do cross validation, and then after that, once we train the data, we're able to extract importance weight or coefficients from the machine learning algorithm's decision, and after that we were able to plot the importance weight back to the brain, and those weights that are more important will represent in the brain, and those tell us where and when the brain was the most active when experimenting certain stimuli. So for audio versus visual, we have visual string code and audio string code. So for everything that's visual, we have starts with V, right? And while with audio, it starts with A. The way how we do it is that whenever we see a V in the first letter, we set it as visual. Whenever we see an A in the first letter, we set it as audio, so that we have a binary problem. Here is the result that we get using random forest for audio versus visual. The picture on the right shows the top channels that are the most active, that give the highest importance when doing classification, and it's mainly located at the back of the brain, as you can see right here. And Professor Dave also observed that between 120 milliseconds to 230 milliseconds are the most active time segment in the data for his original experiment. The figure on the right conform with the result, since the highest importance appear to be located at around 0.125 second and 0.175 second, and the classification score we got for audio versus visual is 69%. So for languages and non-languages, the processing of filtering the string code event ID is the same. We have languages as L and non-languages as N for the last letter. So here is the top 50 channels that has the highest importance for languages versus non-languages, and the classification score we got is 61%. And we were able to plot the top 20 channels in the brain map. As you can see, is mainly located at the back and the left part of the brain. So we also want to use NNE topographic plot to see the pattern of the feature importance for languages versus non-languages. As you can see, at time 130 milliseconds, we have those big spikes, and if we look at the time on the brain where those spikes locate at, it's mainly located at the back of the brain and the left, which matches the previous picture that we have right here. So that shows those is at those part of the brain it was the most active. So we do classification with another epoch data, and it gave us very similar part of the region for languages versus non-languages. Since we believe that the top channel are the decision channels for lexicality problem, it will be reasonable if we we only choose the top 20 channel and classify again, we'll get higher score because those are the deciding factors. So we did that, and the classification score actually increases to 64%. So therefore, we come to the conclusion that those channels right here are the most important channels when doing languages versus non-languages.